Yes. I have severe imposter syndrome. I never believe that I'm good enough for whatever it is that I'm doing, right? Whether it's I'm in a class and even though I get like the highest grades on the exam and I ask all the right questions, I still have this feeling of like, oh, but wait, like I'm the only one. Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not maybe I'm not seeing it correctly, and that has followed me my entire career. Unfortunately, even now, I still have imposter syndrome. I'm like the face of physics at the exploratorium, and it's like, oh, but am I really capable of that? Like, I don't know. Like, I think you have the wrong person, and that's something that's really sad to me. But it's also something that I think I like to talk about freely because I think a lot of people who look like me feel this way and they either don't have a word for it or they don't understand what it is, and I would like to help them understand it so they can overcome it. I've talked to many people about it and I learned that everyone has imposter syndrome. It's just a matter of like learning to deal with it. Like you just have to live with it. You just have to tell yourself over and over again, like, no, I'm fine, But in science, in physics, like everyone feels this way, even though they don't necessarily show you that, which is the problem, right? That's the thing. Is like these white men physicists are very confident and they're like, no, which makes you feel even less confident. It's like, oh, but they're so sure about themselves and I'm not, so they must be right. And that's a huge thing too. And I can't say that it has ever helped my career necessarily, aside from helping me to be humble all of the time. Like I'm always very humble about who I am and where I came from. And like, I know that I'm not the best physicist ever, right? But I'm a physicist and I worked hard to get here and I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. And I'm very happy to share that with people. But I would say one thing that helped me get through a lot of that was finding my people, right? And like finding affinity groups like SACNAS, or like in undergrad, I found SHIP, right? The Society for Hispanic Physicists and Engineers. And we formed a tutoring group and we would go to schools in LA and like tutor kids in Latino neighborhoods to like help them, whatever. We were tutoring them in like English and math and whatever it was that they needed help with. But it was just being with that group of people and knowing that like they're all feeling the same way that I'm feeling, right? And so there's some like, and that's the thing about like Latino culture, like we are very community based, right? We're very familial. And I think having your family and your community around you really helps a lot.